6 developers make a video game, but no communication between them is allowed. Welcome guys to the Pass the Game Challenge. So far in this series we've had Christmas nightmares, disturbing circus simulators, dragon taxis, pig armies, and even monster catching RPGs. Basically, the sky's the limit here. We've got a lineup of insanely talented game developers ready to take up this challenge. So let's see whether they make a chaotic mess or a brilliant masterpiece. To add extra spice to the twist, they must respect a certain theme, and the theme for this video is game development. So without further ado, let's start with developer number 1.
Hey everyone, I'm Dio from CowSins, the developer behind Platformer Engine, Volatile Engine, and the 15th Unity Award winner, FPS Engine. So I was given a pretty cool theme for this challenge, game development. And they also sent me great 3D avatars of Noah and Liam, which I need to use into whatever I end up making.
Now guys, thank you to GENIES for sponsoring this video. GENIES is an avatar and game technology company making tools that allow developers to create 3D avatar games and experiences. Their tech stack, including their avatar framework and UGC tools, leverages AI to improve development workflows and enable developers to seamlessly create smart avatars and games. After years of developing their tech, they're opening early access to their Unity-based Experience SDK, enabling developers to create avatar-focused games using their frameworks and tools. You can check out the links in the description below to follow GENIES and make sure to join GENIES dev community for access to the beta and paid developer opportunities. For example, they're giving away up to 10k in prizes, so check it out at the link below.
I initially planned a local co-op game where one player fights enemies and the other programs gameplay mechanics. However, the controls were too complicated, requiring multiple devices, so I pivoted to a single player game where you play as Liam and switch to Noah to program his abilities. First, I made Liam move, although in T-pose, and it looks pretty strange and funny. You can also aim around, shoot bullets, and switch to Noah's programming setup. You gotta be careful when and how frequently you do that, because when programming, Liam is exposed to enemies. After that was done, I started working on the programming system, and oh god, that was not a fun experience at all. I decided to go with visual programming, and I also found a GitHub package which was very helpful to create the basic logic of this system. But then I had to adapt it to work into my game, and most importantly, make it to actually affect Liam's behavior, because that's the whole point of the game. I added an initial node, and as you can see, the logic for the visual programming started to work out. Pretty cool, right? I took a little break from the node system because my head was about to explode, and decided to add enemies that you could damage and kill, and also a coin system. Coins in this game are called code fragments, and they are required to purchase nodes in Noah's programming tab. Back into the programming feature, I added new action and event nodes. So here, for instance, we have the on space press node, which I can assign an action to, for example, dashing. So you can build up your own abilities by connecting nodes together. Here, for instance, we can call an explosion every time a projectile is destroyed. But because of the modularity of this game, you can easily say, for instance, to dash whenever an enemy is killed, or to gain HP or create explosions on pressing the spacebar. There are a lot of possibilities for this game, and it was a blast to work on. And honestly, I can't wait to see what this turns out into. So good luck to the next developers. That's all for me. I'll see you in the next one.
Hello everyone, my name is Andre and I'm the creator of Mix and Jam, which is a YouTube channel where I recreate game mechanics to learn and share with others. The T-posing character stood out super fast, so I decided to focus my time on improving animations and overall game feel. Since there were no animations included in the project, I had to go to Mixamo to use their library. And I started by movement, right? So I downloaded walking forwards and backwards and a little bit of strafing left and right. And back at Unity, I used the animator blend tree to be able to blend between these 4 animations by using the input X and Y values. I also downloaded an animation for attacking, and for this I had to use a separate animation layer. And on this animation layer, I essentially masked the upper torso of the character so that you could at the same time move and attack. To continue here the polish process, I added DoTween to the project, which is by far one of my favorite plugins for Unity. And with it, I started improving the feedback on certain actions, starting by the enemy hit. Instead of having no response at all when you hit the enemy, I added a little punch to the enemy's scale and made the renderer quickly flash, giving it instant feedback on what's going on. Then when the enemy is destroyed, I actually just used a slight variation of a particle prefab that was already included in the project. For the projectile, I made changes to its mesh and material, making it a little bit more glowy. I created a particle effect for whenever there's a new projectile that would kind of like give more feedback, but not only that, I also made it so that it activated a point light to give this really nice flash effect to make the attack look a little bit more magical. The other thing I did was to replace the current camera system with the Cinemachine package, and this really allowed me to quickly modify the camera behavior. But the real reason why I wanted to add this was to make the camera aim at the character's forward direction. This is a technique that is often used in top-down shooter games to allow players to have more vision on what's in front of them. And since my available time to work on this was coming to an end, I just decided to wrap up my contribution by also improving the feedback on the coins that get spawned when you destroy an enemy. I created this breathing effect animation for the coins and also a particle system that emits when they are collected. But anyway, that's all for me. It was really nice working on this for a bit, and good luck for the next developers.
Hi, I'm Ryan, the developer of the open world game Nightstones. It's available on Steam, and I'd be pumped if you played it. So I opened the project, and I liked what I saw. The game had controls and animations implemented, but the red box enemies definitely left something to be desired. Reading the tip in the upper right corner, I see this game is about defending from haters, bugs, and bad reviews. The word bug really caught my eye and reminded me of one of my favorite nerd stories. That term came into common usage after a moth flew into an early computer and caused a relay to short. The bug was removed, aka the machine was debugged, and the machine started working again. And then the name stuck. Inspired by that nerd story, I decided to add an actual bug to the game. I fired up Blender and started modeling a moth. I can model some decent buildings, but I struggle with organic shapes. But I usually get by with the help of Blender's subdivision modifier to turn my terrible blocky shapes into something less terrible. Make a basic color texture and UV map the model so there is some basic color contrast. I imported the model into Unity, and wow, this looks more like a fighter jet than a moth, but maybe I can improve it with some motion. First things first though, I don't like how slow the rate of fire is. So let's start shooting 10 times faster. Yeah, that feels better. Maybe we are making a bullet hell game. I created some animations and wrote a basic movement script to bring motion to the bugs. These bugs are easy to destroy, which isn't how real computer bugs are. So I improved my movement script, and now the bugs will scurry if you come near them. This makes them harder to destroy, and that feels better, more like actual computer bugs. If you've seen my games before, then you know that I love particle systems with my whole body. So I brought this tree hit particle system and this poison particle system to improve the feel of the bugs. And that's where I wrapped it up. I look forward to seeing what the next step does.
Hey, I'm Codir. When I opened the project, the first thing I noticed was a pink character. After fixing the character materials, I played through the game to get an idea of what is already here. It seems that the game revolves around picking up code fragments and using them to program new abilities. While I like the idea of making your own abilities, I found it a bit difficult to expand on without any communication. Instead, I decided to focus on some other improvements. First, I changed the aiming system so that instead of raycasting on top of enemies, it always aims on the same plane. This makes it much easier to shoot the bugs. I then moved on to the core game loop. Currently the game doesn't have any goals other than upgrading the character, so I decided to add an actual video game that players need to protect from the bugs. I added some effects and made the game spin around. Also, instead of moving randomly, the bugs now attack the game. When a bug touches the circle, you lose. One issue that remains is the bugs are afraid of the player, so you can just stand next to the circle without even shooting. I don't have any more time, so hopefully the next developer will come up with a fix.
Hey guys, I'm Alex, the developer of Havoc and our next game, Ultimate Theater Simulator. I also make videos on YouTube, so check it out. When I first opened the project, I was actually pretty shocked. I really liked the idea of being able to visually program your stats and add upgrades. So at first glance, I thought it would be pretty cool to add some more logic to the node editor. I wanted to add another event, so when you spawn projectiles, so you could hook up more actions like convert projectiles to homing missiles, or even spawn multiple projectiles at once. Now with the on projectile spawn node being done, I can now make the homing missile action, so projectiles will follow a path to the target. One thing I did notice with this system was that it was pretty hard as a player to find which node you wanted. So I added categories to each node so you're able to group them by which ones they belong to. So there's events, actions, or math nodes. I also noticed there was no spawning system yet, so I thought with the whole defending game logic, it would be pretty cool to have like a basic wave system. I also made it quite customizable, so any future developer could easily add enemies or even bosses based off what round they want them to spawn. Now that we have spawning and the basic game loop, I started to work on the map as I noticed no one got to that yet. I thought it'd be pretty cool if it was in a server room setting since it's defending a game and it kind of fits that theme. Now I really don't do much art, so I tried my best to make it modular so it's easy to edit in Unity. I made a couple tiles for the floor so we're able to drag and drop and make our own layout. And I also made two models, one for the server and one for some in-between box thing that I have no idea what it's for. And with these models, I made a basic layout for the map. I really hope another developer comes in and changes the layout because I did it kind of fast and I don't have much time to get to it. Other than some lighting and small tweaks that I did off camera, I'm excited to see what the other developers do.
Yo, what's up? It's Ethano Creates here, and first off, I love this theme, and the devs have some really neat mechanics set up already, so I wanted to keep building on them and pushing the game development theme further. So, to begin with, I decided to change the wave names to follow the game development lifecycle, as well as building a map that would change based on the stage of development the player was in. I then gave the game object some health so that the game doesn't end immediately when a bug reaches it, as well as adding a cooldown between waves to allow the player to take their time learning and using the visual scripting tab. I realized that the red bugs were targeting the player and decided in this case it would make more sense if the red bugs attacked the server and the green ones attacked the game. So with that, I gave the server its own health, which, when depleted, the game will also be damaged. For the testing stage, I added fans who will come and play your game, but some may not like it and will become haters who will attack the game, giving you another enemy to defend against. Then I reworked the enemies to use the NavMesh AI system so that they would follow the map layout correctly. And I wanted to juice up the game a bit more, so I added sound effects and music, which I feel really brings the game to life. And after that, I built this epic start screen with the Blackthorn Bros and their new game. I then fixed a lot of little bugs and finished up as it was 3 AM and I am tired. But I'm pretty happy with how this came together, so I hope you like it.
Dude, nice.
Whoa, okay, so the main menu looks really cool already.
How surprised were you by the end result?
Actually, a lot.
Alright, we got some animes. They're pretty cool animes, not gonna lie. Oh, that's very cool. There's like a lot of feedback actually from, you know, hits and the enemies dying.
Whoa, I like the lighting and also the environment looks way better now that there's some like assets and stuff.
Wow, someone can actually model, like, do my best with the bugs. Oh, the bugs are in it. But this looks fantastic.
Press N. Oh, cool, my map's still here. Nice, little server room.
I wanted another enemy to come in that development stage, which would have been hackers, who would have been another enemy who would attack the server. And I think that would have been kind of cool, and maybe that would have been sort of like a boss, you know, a hacker boss would be nice.
And we still have the programming, that's very cool.
One thing is, it looks like we never got to balance the actual prices of things. So, nice.
Dash action, there we go. Alright, it works. That's perfect. There we go.
I think this whole like building like your character and its abilities through this visual graph is so like, it's so neat. It's such a cool idea. I really wish you could like expand on it more.
So maybe like you could have anti-cheats to protect the game and a firewall to protect the server. Sort of just like theming everything on the game development theme.
What is this guy? I don't know. A hater maybe. I'm gonna shoot him.
Alright, first of all, if my room has a server room and an arcade room, I want that room. Whose room looks like this?
Well, actually, on projectile spawned. I think that's a new action. I didn't add that. There we go. So we'll heal every time. Dude, this is broken. This is broken as hell, bro. I can just heal up entirely. That's cool.
Nice they have like pathfinding. They actually just don't go through the wall. They actually recognize that there's an entrance. That guy's gonna make it through.
On enemy killed, I want to have a math operation. I guess I'll create an explosion.
No!
I mean, honestly, I really like how the game came out. I mean, I really wish we had more time with everything. I feel like if we would want to make this like a Steam release. It would be a really fun game. The actual visual scripting is a really cool idea, and the way it works and the way you're able to like customize your character, there's so much room for that.
I find this to be a very, very interesting concept. There's potential here. We have some crazy new challenges in the making, so guys, if you don't want to see some of the greatest, craziest game dev videos on YouTube, definitely don't subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you real soon. Cheers.